YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Bluesky, AdSense if you're a web publisher, and more. So let me get started. This week, YouTube turned 20. That may make you feel a little old. It makes me feel a little bit old. I can remember YouTube way back then. But you can take a look at the very first video that was ever uploaded to YouTube. It's me at the zoo. This is a hint if you haven't taken this week's quiz yet. So on April 23rd, that was the 20th anniversary of the very first video uploaded to YouTube. YouTube had a few Easter eggs around the site. You can see in the screen capture there, the progress bar, it had a birthday cake, and they published what I would call a sort of almost rewind-like video. I'm not going to spoil it, but if you want to check it out, there's a link in the video description. This very first video uploaded to YouTube has 357 million views and 10.4 million comments. So yeah, nobody's moderating those comments. So as part of the birthday celebration, YouTube shared a bunch of stats. They say there are over 20 million videos uploaded per day. There are over 100 million comments posted per day, over 3.5 billion likes on videos per day, over 1 billion monthly podcast users, and over 125 million YouTube Music and YouTube Premium subscribers. So that's really something. At the end of today's news, I'm going to take a little bit more of a look back, but that's all pretty incredible. So as part of this celebration, they announced a few features that are coming soon. They said that a feature where you can record a voice reply to comments, that's going to roll out to more users. They started testing this last December, so it's still kind of in the early stages. It's kind of an interesting change over, writing a comment. If you have YouTube Premium, you'll be able to speed up videos to 4x, quadruple speed, really fast in the YouTube app. So if you have YouTube Premium and you don't have much time, you may want to check this out. I do watch videos at double speed a fair amount, but 4x, that seems really even faster than I need. So another thing that they talked about is that YouTube Premium and Music Premium subscribers can use an AI-powered Ask Music tool to create a personalized radio station. And I'm using air quotes, even though YouTube doesn't, because it's not really a radio station. Does anyone actually listen to radio stations anymore? Maybe they don't know what they are. But it basically makes a personalized playlist for you to listen to in YouTube Music, which is kind of neat. And then there's also going to be a redesign of YouTube on TV, easier navigation, better commenting, just improved quality all around. So that's something to look forward to if you view YouTube on TV. There's also an update for YouTube TV subscribers. Now, YouTube TV is a separate thing than YouTube on TV. YouTube TV is actually, you can watch over-the-air television. And they've had this feature where you can set up multi-view of sporting events. So if there's like a whole bunch of basketball games happening at the same time, you can be showing multiple games at the same time. They're making it so that YouTube TV subscribers can create your own multi-view with non-sports channels to watch things at the same time. These won't be available until, I don't think, until the summer maybe. So anyway, there'll be more information when these actually launch. So I want to say hi to everybody who is here live. Thank you for joining me, Jolyn, Craig, and Andrew. It's good to see you here. If anyone else is here, please say hi in the comments and say what you think about this week's updates. I suspect all the folks who are now chatting are old enough to remember radio like I do, but if you don't, if you were born after YouTube launched, you may not know what radio is. So the other YouTube update I wanted to talk about today a little bit is that YouTube is testing AI overviews for search. This means you do a search on YouTube and you'll see a carousel of clips that are relevant to your search query. YouTube says this is especially for people doing searches about products, kind of shopping related searches, and searches about locations and things to do in locations. So, like the best museums in San Francisco, that sort of thing. You may see a carousel of clips. This is being tested with YouTube Premium members, not everyone, just a small number of YouTube Premium members in the United States. So if that's you, you may see this and do send feedback. This actually sounds much better to me than the Google search AI overviews, which feel very much like they are replacing the option for people to actually visit websites. This sounds like this could actually drive more traffic to the videos with the relevant clips. I'm really curious to see how this works and whether this gives people a boost who are reviewing products or doing travel videos, that sort of thing. So I think this could be pretty interesting. So switching a little bit over to AdSense for publishers. This is an update for website or blog owners who are monetizing with AdSense. There is an update to the AdSense Policy Center with more detailed information. So this is actually a great update. If you go to your Policy Center in your AdSense account, that will show where AdSense has detected you have a site that may have a policy violation, or if there's any limitations on ad serving from your account. Instead of just labeling these issues must fix, they've actually changed it so there are 3 specific labels now. It can be labeled as a policy issue, as a regulatory issue, which would be a problem complying with the GDPR or various state privacy laws, or advertiser preference. And that's like, this is the kind of content that advertisers may not want to have their ads showing on, but it doesn't actually violate AdSense policy. So when you go to your policy center, you'll see an overview, and then you can filter by issue type, which is useful if in this mock-up example you have a lot of web pages that have issues. You're probably going to want to organize them to figure out what you need to fix and what maybe could wait. There's also a view option that used to be labeled screenshot, something like that. You can click the little picture icon and see where this issue is actually happening on your site. AdSense says you will not receive advertising where there are policy issues, and repeated policy violations may lead to account suspensions. So you need to fix the policy issues, but you don't have to fix regulatory issues or advertiser preferences. But you have to just keep in mind that you may not get very many ads on those pages while there is an issue, so it will probably decrease your revenue. They've also updated the review process, and you can report that your site was incorrectly labeled. So if you go to your policy center and it says, oh, there's a policy violation, you can just ask for a review. Or if you look at your site and you realize you're actually violating policy, you need to fix it first and then request a review. And hopefully that sorts everything out. So I'm going to switch gears now. So this week, Instagram launched Edits. This is their video editing app. It's available for both Android and iOS devices. And it's clearly supposed to be some kind of CapCut competitor. CapCut is the video editing platform from ByteDance. So TikTok related. This is Instagram's version. It's in early days still, but it has a bunch of features. And it's totally free to use, but best I can tell, you have to sign in with an Instagram account. So it's free with your Instagram account. So some of the features, and this is just a brief overview. You can use the video editor, and then you can export your video up to 4K resolution, no watermark, and then upload it to any platform you want to. So this is like CapCut, like YouTube Create, like most other video editing software. You can create your video, upload to multiple platforms if you want, no watermark from the app itself. And it's totally free to use, but they said that in the future, there may be some features that require payments. So some of the things it has a built-in camera where you can record yourself for up to 10 minutes. There's a green screen. You can remove the background. Let's see. They have background noise removal. So if you're talking and there's a background noise, there's part of the app. You can ask it to remove the noise. You can generate automatic captions. There are AI generated animations, so you can like animate a still image. And if you export directly to Instagram or Facebook, it will show you some stats to help you understand what affects your Reels engagement. So this is especially useful if you upload videos to Facebook and Instagram. Instagram also announced there's some features that they are working on, like collaboration options, more effects and fonts, and things like that. I haven't really had a chance to try it yet. It did install on my Android tablet, and it looks like it probably works there, although I haven't really used it to create a video. So that seems pretty useful. And if you are creating videos, you might want to give this a try if you have an Instagram account. So Andrew says, if you aren't monetized, do you have to worry about AdSense? And the answer to that is no, you do not. Yeah. You will see ads. You can, click the little information icon on the ads. If you don't like them, send feedback, but you don't have to worry about all these policy issues and stuff unless you want to report somebody. So while we're talking about video editing, Adobe Express, which is Adobe's free platform for editing images and sort of basic video editing, Adobe Express has new video editing tools. Of course, there's some AI-powered tools in the mix. There's Clip Maker. It automatically creates clips from long-form videos, and it will add captions and reframe the content. So it's basically, if you have a landscape video, it can make a vertical video from it. Generate Video uses Firefly. That's their AI to create custom B-roll. Enhanced Speech removes noise from audio. You can record yourself directly from inside Adobe Express. Then there are tools called Drop Zone and Scene View that lets you compile and rearrange clips into longer videos easier. And if you have integration with Vimeo, that's more professional video platform marketing business. If you have integration with Vimeo, you can directly export from Adobe Express to your account. I think the audience for this is very similar to Canva. This seems to be a Canva competitor. It's aimed at business and marketers mostly, but you could use it for anything. And Adobe Express is free to use. They do have limits on using Firefly AI, though. You get a certain number of credits for free. And once you have used up those credits, you have to pay either for a subscription. I'm not sure you can pay for just a bundle of credits. But if you want to try something a little different, try express.adobe.com and see if that works for you. I think we're really entering sort of the golden age of these editing tools. It used to be you couldn't hardly edit anything for video on the web, and now we're getting all these various tools for both mobile and the web. Video editing, a lot of them are free. It's really great. So I'm going to shift gears now away from video over to digital images. So if you are an artist and you either create art digitally or you scan it in, or if you're a photographer, you're probably familiar with Adobe's suite of editing tools like Photoshop. They just launched a new app, though. It's called the Adobe Content Authenticity app. It's now in public beta, which means that you can use it with your Adobe account. So you have to be signed into Adobe. This lets you attach your verified identity to your digital photos and art. And like I said, it's free to use. How does it work? So it works by using Verified by LinkedIn. Verified by LinkedIn is a new service offered by LinkedIn. And Adobe is one of LinkedIn's first partners. So LinkedIn is doing real identity verification. It uses third-party services like Clear in the US, Mexico, and Canada. It also uses Persona, which is an identity verification platform for people all around the world. And there's a few others they use. And this is totally free to do, but you do need a LinkedIn account, of course. So this is real identity verification. It's not like what you're seeing like on X, where you pay money and they put a check mark next to you. This is actually your real identity being verified on LinkedIn. And then you can connect that back to your digital files. So on the Adobe side of things, you connect your verified by LinkedIn identity using the Adobe Content Authenticity app. And you can also link your social media profiles, Behance, Instagram, X, and LinkedIn. Those don't require identity verification, but you have to verify that those are your social media profiles. And once you do this, it's permanently associated with those images. Adobe says this even works if people take a screenshot. So it does something to the file that makes it permanently linked. It also lets you change a setting that requests the image not be used for generative AI training. I don't think any AI platforms actually look at this setting other than Adobe, but I think Adobe is hoping this will become a standard. If you don't want your images used for AI training, it certainly doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to indicate you don't want your images used for AI training. So we'll see if that actually becomes a standard, or if it's like now and it's the Wild West and these AI companies just Borg everything up without caring about licensing or permission. So the flip side of this is that soon LinkedIn is going to show that information attached to images when the images are posted on the platform. Adobe describes this as connecting trust signals across platforms. And so your audience on LinkedIn can scroll over the image you shared, and it will show the credentials of who created the image. And again, I think they're hoping this will become a standard on multiple platforms. I don't know about LinkedIn that much, but you can imagine on a platform like Instagram, it would be a big deal if images shared there actually displayed the information about the source of that image, who created that image, with their real identity. So Adobe is trying to get out in front of, all these questions about authentic images and AI generated images and so forth by doing this. I think it's an interesting initiative. We'll see where it goes. So a few other updates really quickly. Facebook says they're cracking down on spammy content that crowds out authentic creator content and just makes the experience of Facebook worse for everyone. If they detect spammy content, it will get less reach, so fewer people will see it, and it will not be allowed to monetize, which kind of implies up until now, this spammy content has been monetized. Maybe that's the incentive. And they're hoping that will change. So what do they mean by spammy content? They're talking about content with irrelevant captions, content with excessive hashtags, spam networks where a bunch of different accounts all post the exact same content, fake engagement like fake followers and fake comments, and impersonation. They say they're updating the moderation assist tool. That's for pages and profiles in professional mode to help automatically moderate content comments on posts that meet certain criteria, like having a link. And now you can say, well, hide any comments that are impersonating my page. And they've also enhanced Rights Manager to help creators protect their original content. And as Craig says, Facebook has a spam problem. They certainly do. It's good to hear that they're trying to do something about it. Whether it will be successful is a more open question. Over on Bluesky, they have a new form of verification. What's different about what they're doing is that to get the blue check, it's not just Bluesky that's verifying profiles, which was always part of the issue, right? Why does the platform decide who's notable and so forth? They are actually adding trusted verifiers, which are independent organizations that can add a verified checkmark directly. So for example, the New York Times is a trusted verifier. If you're on Bluesky, when you're on Bluesky, you can click the little tick mark on someone's profile and it will show you how they were verified. So you can decide whether you trust that or not. I think it's interesting that this gives organizations more power to actually verify accounts that they know are real. It's not clear how they decide who the trusted verifier accounts are. That will probably be fraught as well. And there's no way to request verification at this time. Bluesky says if you want to look verified, you should use your own domain because you can use that as your username on Bluesky. And then finally, Linktree. Now, you've probably seen Linktree pages. When people say, click the link in my profile, they often use Linktree to create a page with a bunch of cards, with links and so forth. They are adding monetization options for creators. You can build a course powered by Kajabi. That's a platform for doing things like building courses and selling other products. You can sell digital products from your page. And in the US, you can monetize with sponsored links or sell affiliate products via Linktree shops. So if you're using Linktree for your LinkedIn profile, you may be able to monetize that. So that's all the updates I have for this week. I want to take a quick look back 10 years ago this week. So 20 years ago this week, YouTube turned 10. That means 10 years ago, YouTube, let me say that again. 20 years ago this week, YouTube launched. That means 10 years ago, YouTube turned 10. And of course, YouTube celebrated that with a special post. Back in 2015, there were 300 hours of video uploaded every minute, which sounds like a lot, but it's a lot more now. And if you look at the numbers that YouTube has shared, currently there are 500 hours of content uploaded every minute and more than 20 million videos every day, which is more than even a whole town of humans can watch. Looking at the highlights from 2015, it was sort of a simpler time. There were things that they highlighted like Felix Baumgartner, he jumped from the stratosphere, that was like a Red Bull thing, Gangnam Style video, Charlie Bit My Finger, PewDiePie, all these things that were popular 10 years ago. You still kind of hear about them now, but obviously not as much. And I feel like maybe there aren't as many things happening on YouTube that go viral internationally, partially because there's just so much stuff. Not everybody can see everything. There were big changes ahead for YouTube since their 10th anniversary. In 2015, they launched YouTube Kids, YouTube Gaming, and YouTube Music, which were obviously huge changes. In 2017, there was something called the Adpocalypse. And the Adpocalypse was advertisers leaving the platform because they didn't want their ads shown next to certain content. And this required YouTube to really revamp moderation and especially eligibility for monetization. So that caused big changes at YouTube. And of course, since 2015, there's been a lot of world events. COVID, of course, changed a lot of things. There's changing regulations, world events, many things changed. And of course, there's new competition from TikTok that really shifted the platform, not just YouTube, but other platforms towards short form video feeds. That's a big change. But we're also seeing YouTube really popular on television, more views of long form videos. Really, YouTube seems to be dominating everywhere. So it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next 10 years. Maybe it'll be in virtual reality if that actually becomes more of a reality. So we'll see. Those are all the updates I have for you this week. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you again next Sunday.